How to steer teens away from substance abuse. The first thing to do here is to have education, for them to be able to make an informed decision as far as knowing what they could potentially be getting into. So the idea is to educate them on the various drugs of abuse. This is provided by the schools, but it's uncertain as to the quality of education there. But the most important thing there would be to help educate them so they know what could potentially be getting into. Substance use starts because of influence by other people. It's usually a common human nature to do that, where we ape or mime others' activity, especially in the teen years where there's a lot of social pressures. They just want to fit in, they don't want to be ostracized or alienated from others. So to understand that there's a lot of social pressures there, and the best way to compensate for that is to have open communication with your teen. Hopefully they'll be communicating back to you what's going on in their life. If they're closed off, then maybe consider getting a peer sobriety coach or a life coach, or maybe bring their peers in and have an open communication with the parents and the kids. The next step is called harm reduction. So this is the point that if they're going to use, then to try to impress upon them that the importance of a balanced lifestyle, balancing their use. So it's important to let them know that if they are going to use, there's going to be consequences, especially if there's complications going on where they're missing school or late for school or not working in their job. If there's consequences, then that needs to be feeded back so that there is going to be less support from the parents as far as giving them the good things like an allowance, use of the car, or for example. But if they're going to use, that they should at least know to take it easy and to moderate their use to the point that they're not going to excess, they're not going to the point that they're waking up the next day and hungover and missing classes and not engaging in their normal life routines. So that would be the next important thing, is harm reduction by moderation. The next thing is to have a balanced and healthy lifestyle. This will help prevent or deter your teen from going into drug use. If there's a balance of work and education with pleasure, entertainment, recreation, physical activity, social time with their friends, hopefully these friends would be positive influences in their life. And again, a possible life coach or sobriety coach. These are great ways to ensure a healthy, balanced lifestyle. And when a person is connected with their community, there's less likelihood that they'll isolate themselves and go on to, first of all, choosing to try drugs, and then perhaps extending off and worsening into the use itself. The worst case scenario is that they're using and they're not telling you, and they're hiding and lying this information. So again, communication is super important to know what's going on in your teen's life. So to summarize that one, open communication is super important with your teen to find out what's going on in their life, to help educate them so they can make an informed decision if they are presented with an opportunity to use drugs or alcohol, and then if they are going to use, to at least ensure that they are being smart about their intake to the point that it's not causing consequences in their life. And this is what's called harm reduction, moderating their use. That is the best thing to do. And indications that they're not moderating are things like consequences in their lifestyle, things like failing grades, missing school, missing classes, missing work. So that's important, and to look out for signs of isolation. If they're lying, if they're deceiving, then those are signs that they're not coping well, they're not able to moderate. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comments box below. Thank you.